Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Today we're doing a hands-on review of the Sonic Soak. This claims to be an ultrasonic cleaning tool, and it originated from a very successful Indiegogo crowdsourcing campaign, which raised over $3 million and can now be found directly for sale on their website. Now, the whole premise of ultrasonic cleaners is it's using tiny vibrations, which are similar to electric toothbrushes, to effectively rinse out small particles and clean off objects, and be able to kind of act as a replacement to hand scrubbing, which is not going to be quite as effective, in addition to perhaps a traditional cleaner as kind of a on-the-go washer machine. Other claims, which are a little more extreme, include the ability for it to successfully not only clean off particles, but to eliminate certain types of bacteria through the ultrasonic vibrations. Now, the general consensus, because this product has been released for quite some time now, is the cleaning part is definitely true and functional, and we'll have to find out just how well it works in our video later on. But the part about reducing bacteria and germs is likely not going to be quite as effective. For instance, sanitize something. For that, you should probably still use a UV light if you do want to reduce all germs or bacteria. Here are all the different use cases and objects like watches, anything with really small parts that are hard to reach using a traditional scrub. This might be effective in using vibrations to clean off. Claims to use 40 times less water and 15 times less energy than standard washing machines, but again, it is washing a more reduced load every single time. I will also point out that since the launch of the Sonic Soak, there are some competitors in the same arena of using ultrasonic cleaning that have popped up on the market. So it's no longer 100% the only option or model available. But again, Sonic Soak does claim to be one of the first or original ones launched back in 2017. So here's the packaging. It's pretty simple. Now inside we have just some instruction manuals. Tells us how much water is required depending on what we want to wash. Here we have a quick travel pouch that you can use to take the unit with you when on the road. And then down below here, we have the cleaner itself. There is the part that plugs into the wall and also allows us to set different timers using a touch-sensitive strip. And then it's just connected to the wire itself, which has the cleaner itself that then just attaches into the water. This part is constructed entirely out of aluminum, so it feels like a very hefty chunk. Definitely is very compact. Let's take a closer look at how it performs next. So the first demo is going to be what they call a aluminum foil test to ensure that the Sonic Soak is actually working. So we put it into the water, and we also place a thin aluminum foil on top of the Sonic cleaner, turn it on for around 3 minutes, and after removing it, we should be able to see small holes on the aluminum foil. And the timing for different types of products is also different. For example, for produce such as a carrot or a potato, it takes up to 5 minutes to clean, so you can select 5 minutes on the timer, versus say glasses or watches, depending on the level of the staining, can take anywhere between 5 to 12 minutes, versus clothing, they recommend around 15 minutes to clean. And because we are working with water and electricity, you have to really make sure that you're safe and your hands are dry before going over to the controller, which again is plugged directly into the wall to set the timer and turn it on. And you can hear this is the amount of noise that it produces. So I wouldn't say that it's completely silent, but it's kind of like a white noise in the background, similar to maybe a loud fan, kind of a zapping sound. So this unit is indeed, should be functional. So you can see some of the punctures starting to pop through, so it does seem to be quite powerful. Now, by the way, the intensity of the ultrasonic cleaner can also be set. Apparently there are 3 different modes that you can use depending on how dirty the object that you're cleaning is. Immediately we can see that it's definitely working. It's produced quite a bit of kind of holes and gaps in our tinfoil, which was once completely clean when popped into the water. And if we zoom in, we can see all these tiny little particles are basically the metal or aluminum pieces. So I put into the container a potato and also a carrot. Still a little bit of dirt remaining in some of the smaller grooves. Again, it depends on how much water you have in your container. You can obviously wash it for longer. It still needs an extra splash of water afterwards to really rinse off all the small particles that it's brought to the surface of the vegetable or the object that you're cleaning. Next, I'm going to try this smartwatch because there is a little bit of dust that's accumulated to the bottom portions. Pretty hard to reach using your fingers or a traditional brush. A little bit of foaming happening with the slight amount of soap that I added into the water. So you can see that accumulating at the edges. Stopping it and wiping off the watch, we can see it's actually done a really effective job, and it now looks extremely clean. So almost like brand new. I'm definitely impressed by how well it cleaned this watch. And another test here, we're going to try using glasses, small particles of debris, and that we may want to clean off once every while, and also the moving parts like the arms. So we're going to try and popping it into the liquid with the sonic cleaner. And that also worked really quite well. The nose piece is much cleaner now, small pieces which are really hard to reach with a brush or a traditional wipe, and of course the arms and other parts of the glass are also really clean. But perhaps for vegetables and also for larger clothing, it could be a little bit trickier. This time around with a bit more soap and also lasting for a 15 to 20 minute wash, you can see it does seem to be more effective. The water here has gotten a little bit more murky. Now the cloth is indeed extremely clean and free from any lint or dust, simply needs to be just dried. As good as if we used a traditional washing machine, perhaps even more effective for finer materials like this microfiber cloth. So indeed, it does work for washing small loads of clothing, although again, the time that it takes to wash, about 15 to 20 minutes, is not necessarily shorter than a traditional washer. In a second generation model, it would be even cooler to have maybe a Wi-Fi component so that you can connect it to your smartphone and then use your phone to control the duration instead of tapping on this. So that's more or less it for a hands-on review of the Sonic Clean. Contrary to initial or public belief, it's not pseudoscience, but something that does actually work. But this is really the first time commercializing it into a portable unit and also advertising it for more purposes like washing vegetables and also clothing, acting as a mini washer of sorts. I would say it still works best in cleaning glasses, jewelry, watches, and those traditional cases which have small regions that are hard to reach using a traditional brush or your hands, versus cleaning off vegetables and clothing. It still does a decent job of, but it's not necessarily faster. But as far as sanitizing, that might be a bit more debatable compared to, say, a solution like a UV light. So anyways, it does offer an interesting idea if you're looking for a unique gadget, maybe as a gift, as a conversation starter. It certainly is an interesting concept. That's been our hands-on review of the Sonic Soak. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.